Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to a podcast designed simply to brighten and enhance your life in 10 minutes or less. This Monday morning, wherever you are tuning in from, thank you for being back here and welcome to the one and the only Room for Sunshine. I am here this Monday morning in my sunshine yellow. If you're watching the video, I'm wearing yellow today. If you're not, I'm wearing yellow today because it's one of those days where I just needed to feel brighter. And it's amazing to me how small shifts can make us feel a completely different energy, a different way. And if you've been listening to the podcast so far, first of all, thank you. We have been touching on a lot of different themes. Every week I've sort of picked whatever's been relevant and just talking about that. And what I want to start doing is tailoring in this experience a little bit more specifically. So for the next few weeks, the Monday sunrise chats and the Thursday sunset chats are actually going to link to the same theme. And we're doing this so that we don't just talk about something, do something for it, and then let it go. I want it to be this continued feeling into topics and understanding how topics manifest and show up in your life in different ways, because how we are energetically when we're out in the world at work or with families and how we are when we are nesting and in our own homes is two completely different experiences. We are going to structure this loosely around what yogis talk about as these energies within us that have been referred to as the 7 major chakras. Now, if you are somebody who knows what those are and practices yoga and meditation and is like, yes, the chakras, amazing. If you have no idea what that word means, that's okay. I don't want you to be turned on or off by that. I just want to give you a little context for how we're going to start sequencing the next few weeks of episodes. And ultimately, the whole point is just to start looking at the foundation in our lives in a very practical way and going, okay, what can I do to support myself so that I can grow more, so that I can set healthy boundaries with my boss, so that I can love myself more. We need we're collecting tools. And I'm here to help give you and support you in finding more tools to be able to support yourself ultimately. And before I jump into this week, I just want to take a pause to say that this podcast is designed for everybody. It's not going to be for everybody because there will be people who go, I love it, and people who go, not for me. That's okay. But it is intended for anyone. And what I mean by this is I came from living in LA, working in screenwriting in Hollywood, and I'm now here living in Bali teaching yoga. And I understand that there are two very different worlds. And I understand what it feels like emotionally, mentally, physically to be somebody who works a 9-to-5 in a city. And I also understand what it's like to be a nomad free spirit roaming and seeking. And what I have found for myself is that those two worlds don't need to be so far apart. You can live a mindful life no matter where you are in the world. So whether you are sitting at a desk right now or heading on your way to work, or you're laying on a beach in Thailand, these are tools that are for everybody. And the more that we all develop these own self practices, the more that we can actually start to have empathy and understanding for one another as human beings, regardless of how we identify with our daily life. This isn't for one archetype of human. This is for anyone who just wants to find small ways to enhance their life in a simple, practical, day-to-day manner. Cool. Thanks for letting me share that. So this week, we are going to be talking about rooting, root, stability, anchoring, the things that support us in our lives to go live the lives we want to live. And when you think about building a house, you need a foundation for the house. And naturally, the ground is going to be your first foundation. So this does have to do with grounding and connecting to things that are really fundamental, things that are basic needs and our stability in this earth. And then you still need to put down a foundation on that ground before you build up. You don't build the roof down, you build the ground up. I did not study architecture, but if you have another theory behind that, please let me know. And so this week, as we think about rooting, what I really want to draw attention to is starting to take inventory of your unique basic needs that provide you with a sense of safety and stability, and asking yourself kind of where you feel good and where you might need a little bit more support. For example, I am somebody who I moved around growing up quite a few times. So having a sense of home is really, really important to me. When I first got to Bali, I was between places and I didn't feel anchored in anything. And that was very much reflected in my energy, how I saw myself, how I was speaking to other people, what I was thinking, and being very anxious about what's next, because I didn't have anything that was holding me down, that was making me feel safe where I was. And so for me, creating a safe space in my home is fundamental to me feeling good as a human being. I spent time, this little tree house that I'm in right now, I turned into a home. I brought pillows and plants and things, small candles that make me feel really good as a way to say, okay, this is what I need to do to really feel like this space is my own, or a space that is curated by me, because I know that for me, that's fundamental to my own security, to my own sense of belonging. Another example, I like things to be in order to a degree. And last night I got home and my room was an actual tornado. And I realized that I had this like slight buzzing, anxious energy from the past few days. And that is directly reflected in how I was taking care of my space. My space was overwhelming. My space wasn't clean and spacious and peaceful. It looked like a bomb of clothes just like vomited all over the floor. So I cleaned. And then I woke up feeling much lighter and neater and more organized. And these are really simple things that, again, I think we're taught them, make your bed, do these things, but to actually zoom out and go, when it comes to food, when it comes to a roof over my head, money to support myself, maybe not to support my dream life, but to support my basic needs as a human being, what's working and what's not working. And so this week, for the next few days, I invite you to just start to get curious about the things that provide you with a sense of safety and security. And results of this not being in check and in flow could be anxiety. It could be feeling not stable in your life. It can show up in a lot of different ways depending on who you are and how these things come to fruition in your life. But for me, often what I experience when my root is out of balance is I don't feel a sense of home and I don't feel a sense of safety, and that makes me very buzzy. It makes me feel very on edge all the time. But once I know that, okay, I have a home that I love, that feels like my space, it doesn't need to be the place that I want to be the rest of my life, but I've created a space that feels safe for me to come home to. And my relationship to slowing down, to connecting with things that are very simple, the earth, with being in nature, when those things are in balance, I'm then able to go a little deeper into my desires and my purpose and my passion. You might even just sit on the ground this week. Literally feeling ground beneath you can help with this. The color red, if you want to kind of even go a little, if you're an overachiever, wear something red this week. Maybe drink a beetroot juice. And start to check in with all your basic needs, primal needs as a human being. How are those in your life right now? Do I feel safe with my basic needs? And once we start to check in with those, we'll tune back in Thursday and take it one step further, go a little deeper in the work. But that's it. We're rooting down this week. This is a week for grounding, connecting, presence, and really reflecting on the things that are stable or unstable in our lives right now. I am wishing you a beautiful, bright Monday morning ahead, a week ahead of something fulfilling, something that brings you joy. Please share the podcast with any friends. Follow us on social media at Room for Sunshine. And I will see you Thursday evening for our Roots 2.0 Sunset Chat. Thanks for tuning in. See you next time on Room for Sunshine.